Yuji Itadori recently awakened his new shrine technique, and despite being amped by black flashes, it did absolutely nothing. I mean, even Yuji himself realized that shit was ass and went straight back to battering his deformed uncle with black flash punches. Instead of just sitting here and crying about how much Yuji needs to improve though, I decided it would be a better use of my time to theorize how Yuji will get strong enough to properly terrify Sukuna. However, while I was thinking up all of these half-baked copium-fueled theories, I accidentally stumbled across the best one yet. For ages, I have been agonizing over how Yuji will increase his output and get to Sukuna's level, but I now realize that Gege planted the answer right under our noses an entire 7 chapters ago. Not only will this theory explain how Yuji's shrine will soon hit as hard as Sukuna's, but it also makes the most sense for Yuji's character. And yes, I am well aware of the fact that you want me to shut the fuck up and actually tell you what the theory is, so I will. First though, I want to point out that we just hit 10k subscribers, which is honestly pathetic. I mean, how many millions of people read JJK and we only have 10,000? Pathetic. No, I'm kidding. Thank you guys so much. This genuinely means the world to me. Actually just made my year. Shut up! Fine. Let's just get on with the theory then. One of Jujutsu Kaisen's most prevalent themes at the moment is all about becoming monsters. Urame explains to Hikari that modern sorcerers are weak because they won't abandon their humanity in order to seize their desires. And Sukuna also stresses a very similar point to both Jogo and Kashimo. To be honest though, I don't know why the fuck Urame is chatting about this shit when they're literally Sukuna's submissive chef. That's like Gordon Ramsay lecturing Conor McGregor on his technique or some shit. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, Yuta recently realized that they all needed to abandon their humanity in order to beat the strongest in history. Among other Gojo-related things, Yuta was basically saying that they need to fight fire with fire. The problem is though, Sukuna's mentality and strength combined is simply too overwhelming for any of them. Almost everyone who tries to adopt that monster mindset ends up getting put in the dirt because Sukuna's is just superior. Yuji Itadori, however, gets back up over and over and over again and gets a little bit stronger every single time. Yuji's unbreakable resolve genuinely pushes Sukuna to lose his composure, and this is because Yuji stubbornly refuses to abandon his humanity and become a monster, and for that reason Sukuna thought Yuji was exceptionally weak, which is why it frustrates him so much that he won't just stay down. To put it very simply, if Sukuna represents the peak of selfishness, then Yuji represents the peak of selflessness. Instead of claiming your own desires by carelessly harming others, Yuji selflessly protects others by taking on their share of suffering as his own, and it's this idea right here that plays such a big role in both this theory and Yuji's character. Ever since his grandfather told him to help others in chapter 1, Yuji Itadori has held tightly onto his humanity and morals, which of course isn't compatible with being a Jujutsu sorcerer. After being faced with that conflict for a very long time though, it seems that he has finally settled which approach he wants to take. Instead of seizing your ideals by allowing others to suffer, Yuji gets strong enough to seize them by taking on that suffering for himself. Throughout JJK, Yuji has brought suffering onto himself and selflessly mutilated himself in order to get strong enough to save others from harm. He agreed to the plan of eating all of Sukuna's fingers and then being executed because he genuinely believed it would save countless lives in the long run. Or at least that's what Gojo told him. I know it didn't quite play out that way, but that's what he thought. He also agreed to eat the remaining Curse Room death paintings just to get strong enough to fight Sukuna, and based on this panel, it really didn't seem like he was too keen on that idea, but he did it anyway. And this selfless mindset is even reflected in the way that he fights. Just look at how many scars he is covered in compared to everyone else, and that's simply because he likes to fight up close and literally walks through the pain. One of the best examples of this is when Nobara outright says,
"And if it's just pain, Yuji Itadori will never stop!"
His scars and blood-red gauntlets physically represent Yuji selflessly suffering to get stronger so that other people don't have to. His unbreakable soul and the ability to firm the pain for himself is what lets him always get back up, and that really pisses Sukuna off. Yuji Itadori is the living proof that Sukuna's selfish mentality is not how you become the strongest, or at least it will be by the end of the story. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Wow, great analysis, Allons, but how the f*** is that a shrine theory? Well, don't worry, because it's finally time for me to explain how Yuji Itadori will push his shrine to Sukuna's level. Trust me though, everything I have just discussed is very important for this to properly work with Yuji's character. As we all know, Yuji can use cleave, but due to his lack of experience, the low output makes it pretty much useless. Sukuna has years and years of experience at the top, so it doesn't really make sense for Yuji to reach that level only on his own in the next 10 minutes. The solution to this problem though has been right under our noses for quite a while now. Or more accurately, it fell on Sukuna's nose in chapter 257. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I believe while Yuta is keeping Sukuna busy, Yuji will go and retrieve Nanami's 7-3 cursed tool from the battlefield. The 7-3 tool hits crazy hard even in the hands of your average grade 1 sorcerer. Now imagine how stupidly hard it would hit in Yuji's hands. Not only that, but Nanami was the previous Black Flash record holder with that cursed tool, so it makes sense for Yuji to continue the tradition and unleash a flurry of Black Flashes with that tool. As if that wasn't overkill enough though, we can actually take it a step further. Imagine Yuji uses the 7-3 tool to land a 7-3 cleave Black Flash. With Yuji's insane strength, it should easily match or even surpass Sukuna's own cleave. And what would be even cooler is if Yuji finally unwraps the blade, but that might just be a universe ender. To be clear, this is definitely possible since you can use your own curse technique and a curse tool imbued with a technique at the same time. And he should be able to use cleave with it, because as long as he's making contact with the blade and the blade is making contact with Sukuna, then he can spread cleave. Hell, maybe Yuji could even turn it into a 7-3 chainsaw by covering it in mini slashes just like Sukuna did against Yuta and Maki. As undeniably cool as that theory is though, I know lots of you will probably still be wondering what the f*** it's got to do with my selflessness yap session in the beginning of the video. Well, it's related because Yuji takes on the burden of other people's suffering and uses it to get stronger. I mean, think back to Shibuya. When faced with Mahito, Yuji remembers Nanami's death and then literally says he will take on his share of suffering. He then immediately proceeded to wallop Frikito with a Black Flash. Using Nanami's ratio curse tool to make his shrine stronger than Sukuna's would quite literally represent Yuji using Nanami's suffering to get stronger. It would almost be like Yuji is collecting a shrine of suffering in order to get stronger. You know, what with him utilizing Nanami's technique and Chozo's piercing blood. Gege could then take it a step further and have Sukuna collect a load of abilities that he got from causing suffering. For example, he added the world-cutting slash to his arsenal from beating Gojo, and also could have taken Hiten and Kamatoke from his strongest opponents in the past. Actually, now that I think about it, he only had Kamatoke in the modern age because he got it from Yorozu, who he only wanted to fight because he wanted to kill Sumaki and cause Megami suffering. Yeah, honestly, this entire theory just sounds too good to be true, but it's definitely how I would do it if I were Gege. Now, if you, for some dumbass reason, don't like this theory, then allow me to present you with every other way Yuji could possibly get stronger, that we know of at least. First off, there is the matter of Kenjaku and whether Yuji has actually achieved his true purpose yet. As much as people like to jump to conclusions and then call them facts, we still don't 100% know why Yuji needed to be the son of Sukuna's brother's soul. Damn bro, that family tree is so messed up. Anyway, we also don't know the details of how Kenjaku even got the twin soul in the first place. Of course, Kenjaku says that Yuji's purpose was to be the perfect vessel, which of course everyone took to mean Sukuna, but some people believe that Yuji's true purpose is actually to be a vessel for the merger. That way, he would quite literally take all of Japan's suffering in exchange for cursed energy and strength beyond Sukuna's. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this theory, but I won't rule it out as a possibility because Kenjaku is a slippery bastard that I do not trust one bit. The other ways that I believe Yuji can get stronger quickly are a little more vague because they are based off the fact that we still have so many unanswered questions. For example, what was the true purpose of Yuji and Yuta's soul swap training? This swap was actually revealed to us as a sneaky comment hidden in another conversation, meaning it's not yet been fully explored but will likely become relevant very soon, especially since Yuta is back on the battlefield. There are many good theories already, for example, Yuji learning to heal others, but since we don't know for sure, it could play a role in the future power-up or hidden ability for Yuji. And another big question is what Yuji and the gang actually learned from reading Yuki's soulbook. It's one of those frustrating cases where the characters have more information than we do, and it's just getting drip-fed to us for a very, very long time. I mean, it's a damn chunky book that we've seen like less than a page of, so there could easily be something in there which allows a power-up or new ability from Yuji. The biggest question mark for me though is the secret behind Yuji's talent for Black Flash. I was willing to accept it as just something he can do because he's him, but after seeing the flashback of Gojo explaining it, I have wondered if there might actually be something more behind Yuji's talent yet to be explained. There's also the matter of how the Black Flash amp actually works. First off, I think the 120% boost is temporary. I also think the amp does stack, but with diminishing returns, or else you would become way too strong, way too fast. The other benefit of Black Flash though is that it deepens your understanding and skill with curse energy. The more you land one, the better you get. I mean, when Yuji lands his flurry of Black Flashes, Sukuna even wonders if Yuji is trying to climb to his level, which suggests that there is at least some temporary or permanent increase in strength that comes with landing a load of Black Flashes. Since we still don't know exactly how they work, it remains an open-ended question mark, but I definitely see Yuji's talent for Black Flash being a way for him to reach Sukuna's level. Who knows, maybe he will go beyond a regular Black Flash and evolve it somehow. Maybe he'll pull a Mahito and grasp the true essence of his soul. Or maybe Yuji's skill with cursed energy will advance so high that he becomes the first sorcerer ever to utilize multiple techniques simultaneously. The possibilities are literally endless at this point. Who the fuck knows? Anyway, that about does it for today's Yuji Glaze/theory video. Obviously, my main point and prediction is that Yuji will take up Nanami's cursed tool, but obviously there are so many ways that Yuji could get stronger stronger, so who really knows. I do actually think most people will enjoy this theory a lot though, so be sure to let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like and sub, feel free to join the Discord and follow me on Twitter, links below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon for some 263 discussions. And yeah, I know I said 263 last week, but it was actually 262.5, so this one's whatever, there's gonna be a chapter.